There's something a little bit dangerous about filming in places like these. Obviously not literally dangerous in the geopolitical sense, but, you know, I suppose in the alluring way. Because after a few mornings of very good light, very well-designed spaces, warm air before breakfast, you start to think, why don't we just do this all the time? And I don't mean it flippantly. We're coming to the end of the Egypt project now. This afternoon we've got a boat excursion for a staged picnic scene, which should be lovely, and tomorrow is a travel home day. And it feels like a natural moment to sort of take stock of what this trip has actually been. It's been a good show. Most mornings we've been up for about 6:30, sometimes a bit earlier, and from about 6:30 through to 9:30, maybe 10 at a push, the light here is absolutely extraordinary. It comes in at such an unobstructed low angle that it streams in through the windows into the suites and just does most of the work for you. And then after that, the sun gets a bit higher, the angle flattens, and that very sort of spectacular, dramatic lighting disappears. So you get into an early start kind of rhythm, and we've been making sure not to waste any of it. But even after just a week of experiencing it, I can feel these intrusive thoughts creeping in. From the outside, I can see why this would look a lot like a holiday. It definitely isn't that. It's timing, it's waiting for housekeeping to clear, it's moving furniture slightly, it's deciding whether a slider actually adds anything, or whether I'm better off just locking the camera off and letting the world move within the frame. But it's undeniably easier to make compelling images when the raw ingredients are this good. I can never remember the photographer's name, but somebody said, the secret to a good photograph is good-looking people doing good-looking things in good-looking places, and the rest is easy. And that is always true, and never truer than here. The materials I've got to hand are better than anything I've worked with before. The light is cleaner, the horizon is absolutely uninterrupted, and I think when you spend sustained time working in an environment like this, your whole standards shift up a notch. Meg's been able to properly paint outdoors here, which at home is much harder to pull off. Watching her be able to respond to this light and this pretty extraordinary colour palette, the sea, the sky, sun, shadows, it's pretty obvious that working in these conditions is going to enable pretty spectacular output. And so that's part of really how it's changing what I've been thinking of as possible, if that makes any sense. We find ourselves watching on cold Cornish evenings a little bit of travel YouTube, and there's some really great creators there. And it's often not too technically complicated from a video point of view, but there's just something relaxing, gentle about having a far-flung, beautiful place on TV in the background where you potter around and do your own thing. And so with that as a bit of context, and working in this location as a bit of context, I can't help but thinking, I mean, maybe we should be trying to tap into that pretty large addressable market of travel YouTube. Just as maybe an additional string to the bow, but it can't really hurt to dabble in it and see where it leads. From an actual video creation point of view, travel YouTube doesn't look too taxing. It's just the, having access to these destinations and locations and accommodation that sort of makes the whole thing work. But something to think about. Obviously, it's easy to say that travel YouTube seems pretty easy as an outsider, but we're only seeing the most successful examples of makers, creators in that space, I expect. So, I've no doubt that there's thousands of people that have uploaded for years and have never really gained any traction. So, don't want to diminish it in any way. But all that said, with our video capabilities and our potential ongoing access to nice locations, maybe it is something we should seriously consider exploring. Plus, using the experience I've got with my own kind of me-focused YouTube channel, I've learned some YouTube-based lessons in addition to learning a lot about making great video and how to best use good kit that I've sort of been piecing together from conversations within this community. Who knows, maybe there's something there. Practically speaking, this project hasn't been some kind of gimbal-heavy cinematic extravaganza. In fact, I would say that the tripod has done most of the heavy lifting. When there's already been plenty of movement in the frame, like palms in the wind, water moving, staff moving through spaces, I've just leaned into locked off shots. Like those, I really love those postcards, moving postcard type things you see all over the place these days. Just letting the environment breathe, nice long shots, no need to introduce unmotivated movement just for the sake of it. In the suites, I've used the lightweight slider. That's sort of just allowed the dimensionality of the spaces to shine, and especially in places where it kind of feels appropriate to do so. Nothing excessive, just to, supplement the image itself. And for the fitness sessions and cocktail masterclasses, going handheld has really made sense because there's energy, interaction, and it allows the viewer to feel a bit closer. We've been here long enough to really saturate it as well. Multiple passes, same angle, different morning, subtle shifts in light. I think we're probably knocking on the door of 3 terabytes of footage at this point, so a lot of coverage. Probably more even once you include what's on the ZVE one. A little unnervingly is I didn't bring a CF Express Type B reader intentionally, so all of the footage is just on the cards, ready for review when we get back. Which is a tiny bit unnerving, not being able to review it and reshoot if need be, but I'm sure it'll be great. If you're interested in travel or interiors video, how to decide when to move the camera, when not to, how to approach a long stay shoot like this, if any of that's interesting or useful to do, then if you could do the usual YouTube things like subscribe, maybe hype, whatever that does, all of that kind of thing genuinely helps the channel. And while I'm interrupting, and I know I always say this, so apologies, but this trip in particular has been a really good example of why Instagram exists as part of this Western Approaches ecosystem. YouTube is the sort of distilled, concentrated highlights edit. Instagram is kind of everything else in between. There's camera tests, thinking out loud, ample behind the scenes, sweets before they're reset, Meg painting with a coffee while I'm waiting for the sun to hit a wall properly, just scouting corridors that catch the light, that kind of ephemeral thing, that's all on Instagram. So if you haven't already, go over there and give us a follow. I'm Jack Filmed. Meg's filming account is also Meg Filmed. Not that there's an awful lot there at the moment, but hopefully that will develop as well. So we look forward to seeing you there and carrying on the conversation. It's been pretty impressive working somewhere like this. Everything is beautiful. You walk into a room and immediately start thinking about how you're going to frame it. The light seems, within the caveats of the time of day, is always there and is always consistent and is always prepared to cooperate. Everything is high quality, everything you touch, every material is elevated. So it really raises your baseline. And the thing I want to make sure I don't lose when we go home tomorrow isn't the pool or the extraordinary service, because they're obviously not coming home with us. It's the elevation of my own standards and the expectation that actually we can aim higher with our work. I've got one small regret from the trip, and it's not about the shoot exactly, which has been fantastic. It's about, I suppose, the geography and the timings. Inland from the hotel, the land rises into these extraordinary mountains surrounded by desert, and the hotel runs excursions, which I think is basically just a convoy of luxury Hiluxes heading out in the morning, and you meet Bedouin tribe and you have traditional dinner with them under the stars, which obviously just sounds incredible, and that's something I would love to do if ever we have a chance to come back here. But it just hasn't quite worked out time-wise, and also it's been pretty windy, so I think the desert has been pretty unforgiving, which I suppose is part of the thing that sort of brings it back round to being more work than holiday, because you are a little bit beholden to work outcomes and schedules in a way that is different to the total liberty you might have if you were just at leisure. But I know it's totally okay to have things that you didn't get around to on a first pass. Such is life. And I kind of expect we'll be back here at some point as well. I don't know exactly what the active takeaway is in practical terms for me from this project. Maybe it's actively pursuing more 5-star travel work. That sounds quite appealing. And that might mean sort of tailoring my pitch to be a little bit different. It might mean being more deliberate about the kind of environments we place ourselves in. And it might even mean at some point experimenting with travel-led content on its own YouTube channel. Don't know. And that all stems to making work in beautiful places is really compelling, not just from the output and the work's strength point of view, just from the joy of doing it. So it would be a shame not to pull on that thread and follow it a little bit further. So this afternoon we've got a stage picnic on the boat, and that's our last part of the work itinerary. Tomorrow we're going to pack everything up and travel home. I'm going to miss the 5-star frame of mind, but I'm going to bring that standard home with me. And next time, I'd quite see the mountains. I'm Jack. Over there drawing is Meg. Whatever this is, I'm calling Western Approaches in the field. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you back to our more normal programming next time.